To whoever's listening, welcome back to another episode of No One Cares But I Do. And today I'm covering the history of Nintendocore. At the moment, I'm getting really into it. It's been a bit of a hyperfixation of mine. And so I thought, hey, why not I make a comprehensive video about the origins of it? Because I haven't really seen anything like that on YouTube or, any videos covering it like that. So I suppose I'm a bit of a pioneer, depending or not when I actually publish this video. Maybe someone else will make a better video than mine. If that happens, I will kill myself, so blood on your hands, I guess. Okay, I'm sorry, let's get back on topic. Let's talk about Nintendocore, the origins of it, the genres involved in it, the modern day scene, and even the fashion of it. I'm so sorry they went off script like that, but I'm still going to keep it. I've actually written a script for this, that's how much I've taken time doing this. But anyway, before we get into that though, please subscribe to help me out, like this video to boost up in the algorithm. Comment down below any suggestions, maybe radio ideas or topics you want me to cover, and I might make a video on it, not guarantee though, because I am lazy. And also hit that bell to get notifications to all of my videos. And by the way, I have a Twitter. I've had a Twitter for ages now, I always say that, but I really do just shit it. I'm not gonna lie with you, but whenever there's a new video out, I'll be like, hey, here's a new video, check it out, here's a link. I'll tweet about it and everything, and I will even pin it on my Twitter, so the first thing you see on my Twitter is the link to that video, so you can't really miss it if you're following on my Twitter. Or if you have the bell on, I would recommend you do both. And I'm pretty sure 99% of my followers are porn bots, so if you're a real person, follow my Twitter and do all the other things I just said right now. Anyway, let's get into this. This genre came around the late 1970s in Tokyo, Japan, with technically the first Nintendocore band, although they don't call themselves that at the time, obviously. And the band is Yellow Magic Orchestra. They sampled the Space Invader sounds for the 1978 album, also called Yellow Magic Orchestra. This is a bit off topic, but I'm not a big fan of when bands name their albums or their songs after their band. I don't know what it is, it just peeves me. It's also harder to find. For example, Yellow Magic Orchestra. I guess you'd have to put an album, but which album? What? Yellow Magic Orchestra album? No, that sounds stupid. But anyway, later on, another group emerged called Buckner and Garcia. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. They also influenced the genre due to being the first band to produce the album Pac-Man Fever, entirely comprised of video game related music. And also, former Yellow Magic Orchestra member Haruimi Hosono, again, I'm really bad with names, I'm so sorry, later released the 1984 album Video Game Music, which is very self-explanatory. I like that. I like when an album has a self-explanatory title, so it got a good chuckle out of me when I was researching this. The album was made entirely with Namco arcade game samples, which is an early example of a chiptune record. You might be thinking, what the f*** is chiptune? But I will get to that, so just be patient. In 1998, though, Horse, the band, was formed and was considered the first true Nintendocore band, despite later denouncing the label. Although, fun fact, they actually coined the term Nintendocore, even if the frontman, Nathan Winky, is that his last name? Yeah, I think so. Has clarified this joke, he was kind of taking the piss with it, but now the term Nintendocore is a thing. And whenever I'm I'm listening to some Nintendocore, I feel like a huge loser, because why would it be Nintendocore? I suppose it's because it made a video game related music, but fucking hell. Furthermore, the subgenre really did take off in the 2000s with a clearly defined name and genres associated. According to Google Trends data, the term quote-unquote Nintendocore peaked at around 2004 to 2008, roughly the same time most sources talking about the genre itself were written back then. So basically, when Nintendocore came about the most, it was also during the third wave of emo, when scene was becoming a bit more popular. So I'd have to assume there's a semi-big crowd of Nintendocore fans that were also emo or scene, due to the fact that later on we'll talk about the genres associated with Nintendocore that are also with emo and scene as well. It's actually quite fascinating. But anyway, it's just a bad time to admit there's hardly any sources to make a good comprehensive video about Nintendocore. I wrote halfway through. But yeah, sorry if anything's like insanely wrong somehow, although I promise you I poured over like hours in research into this. Although I'm very open to discussion in the comments, correcting me on anything I could have missaid. Like, if you're a Nintendocore fan, like, and you're like, what the fuck is he going on about? Just like tell me in the comments, because I want to learn. I want to learn about Nintendocore more. I thought I'd add it here because my intros are long enough and you've probably made it this far without clicking off, so I just thought I'd like dump it in the middle of the video. If you have, thank you, because I can imagine this isn't like the best video ever. Anyways, let's get into the next part. Although sometimes Nintendocore genres can be muddled here, is what I discovered as the like most universally accepted genres mixed with chiptune, since technically Nintendocore is not a single genre. It's more so an amalgamation of genres, just like most alternative music. So like I suppose there'll be like subgenres within Nintendocore. It's mixed with a lot of other pre-existing genres that came before it. It's not like its own entirely different thing. Like yeah, it's compromised like video game sound bites, but there's also like a lot of more musically inclined genres, really. I'm not too sure if I can explain that well, but let's just rattle off the list. Here the genres are 100% infused with Nintendocore, and this is fact checks by me, so you know I'm a really good source. Chiptune itself, post-hardcore, metalcore, heavy metal, video game music, i.e. soundtracks or sound bites from games, particularly from retro Nintendo games, of course. And that's why it's called Nintendocore. You get it now? I hope so. Now you're probably asking again, what the is chiptune, as I was talking about earlier? Well, I'll briefly explain it before we move on to the next section of the video. I don't want to bore you too much. Chiptune is a genre of electronic music that incorporates the use of sound chips, arcade machines, computers, and lastly, video game consoles, which I thought was actually really interesting, because I was like, how can you make music with the NES console or whatever? But turns out you can. It's like I think it's very impressive, honestly. Basically, it's music, mainly instrumentals made for like vintage electronic. It's easy to see why it's called Nintendocore if they infuse any of the genres above with literal video game consoles. I feel like if you put most genres together with like video game consoles, then it's just Nintendocore. But anyway. Although it's believed the scene was revived in July 2016, I couldn't find much conclusive evidence for that, so I'll be touching on the today scene in 2025, although perhaps by the time I actually get this video out, it'll become outdated, but oh well, tough shit. While I'm writing this, there's not any decent videos touching on the subject, so you're stuck with me for now. Well, at the moment in the scene, there's been some bands, particularly on Instagram, gaining notoriety, such as I Kidnapped the Princess, which is a personal favourite of mine. Animea is dying, The Taxidermy of Men, Fear the Pink Mist. Honestly, I would recommend checking them all out, even if I don't listen to all of them. I think it's really important to keep these sort of subgenres alive, even if they are quite niche, and I think there's a lot of hidden talents, but let me move before I start becoming a glazer. Anyway. God, this was like the hardest thing to do. The modern day scene, sure, that's hard, but the fashion, oh my god. I wrote out the things I wanted to talk about before researching them, but then I realised there isn't like a set in stone fashion for Nintendocore, except this picture from Your Scene Sucks, which is like, I do love Your Scene Sucks, but surely this isn't like an actual example. I'm not too sure. A lot of them I've seen are actually quite accurate, but like I've been on the internet since 2014 and I don't think I've ever seen someone dress like that and also claim to like Nintendocore or like anything like that. It's more, I'm not too sure, to be honest. I think if you think of a gamer, especially back then, you're just thinking of like a fat white guy, so I suppose it kind of fits, but at the same time, I thought it was just really inaccurate. Sorry, that's a very off comment. I don't know if I've under-researched or what, but I can't find any like real-life examples or pictures of anything similar. So I've just put together some fashion trends I've personally seen, partially from the Nintendocore bands themselves and from other genres that are associated with Nintendocore that have a bit more of a defined style. They still like Nintendocore, so I thought, you know, it counts. Although the most universally agreed Nintendocore accessory seems to be this NES belt buckle, and I'm pretty sure it is in the Your Scene Sucks picture. I don't really have it on the screen right now while I'm reading this, but I'm pretty sure it's there. And fun fact, I actually have an NES belt buckle. I kept seeing it like Pinterest pictures of like emo people, and I'm like, that's a really cool belt buckle. I'll get that. And I have like this rainbow belt to kind of like go with it. It reminds me of like Mario, like the rainbow tracks, whatever it's called. And I was like, that's so badass. Turns out the belt buckle doesn't really fit in the holes. And turns out the belt actually kind of sucks ass, so I might just sell both of them separately, of course. But anyway, sorry. Let me get into what I've compiled, and at the end I'll make a picture of it. Kind of like what you see on Pinterest. Unofficial, but often associated Nintendocore fashion. Nintendocore band shirts, which is a given, of course. Like most alternative styles include the band shirts of the bands. Velcro shoes / slip-on shoes, Vans or Converse. I would say if they're going to like live events, they should wear not slip-ons, so I suppose Velcro would help, but also like if you can tie your shoes, put like laced shoes, like Vans or Converse, that's fine, but you don't want like to be moshing or whatever they do at Nintendocore concerts, but you don't want to be moshing and then suddenly your shoe goes flying. So yeah, skinny / bootcut jeans. This was more aligned with like the singers and people in the bands themselves. Also, like most alternative fashion from the 2000s, when Nintendocore kind of peaked, it was very much like skinny and bootcut jeans. So jogging bottoms as well. And the NES belt buckle, usually paired to like a black or brown belt, or white actually. I've also seen white. That's kind of rare, but like when you search up NES belt buckle, it is black, brown, and occasionally white. I don't think I've seen any other colours. I think I'm a pioneer because I've paired up with a rainbow belt. A typical long metalhead hair / emo-esque hair. There's not like a definitive hairstyle for Nintendocore, but these are like the most common I've seen, like with the, you know, like the bands themselves. They often have like long metalhead hair, but like the people I've seen who are into Nintendocore, they do very much have like emo-esque hair. But anyway. This is the last part of the video. Yay, you did it. You got through my grating audio quality and lackluster information. I'm so sorry for that. Probably annoyed already, because I've been saying like a million more times in this video, oh, I'm so sorry for the lack of information. Oh, sorry I said, oh, I should kill myself. Oh, blah, 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 blah. I'm joking about it, but honestly, thank you for listening to this. Anyways, let's get into my personal Nintendocore band recommendations. You know, just to start you out in case you're looking to get into the scene, although the personal recommendations are roughly the same as the general recommendations I talked about earlier. I think these are the better ones though. And there's also like some older bands, not like from Instagram specifically, like from the time that Nintendocore was more popular. Okay. I Kidnapped the Princess, I Shot the Duck Hunt Dog. I don't know why, but that's such a tongue twister for me, or I always like type it wrong into Google when I want to like look up one of their song lyrics, or I want to possibly buy merch from them. Horse the Band, Sky Eats Aeroplane, Math the Band, lots of bands, Horse the Band, Math the Band. They should collab honestly, just purely because of the names. And you know what, that's basically it for today. I'm sorry if you think, wow, that video was crap. As I said when I was making this, I realized, holy shit, this is impossible, but I pushed through regardless. So I hope you can at least see I tried. And honestly, from making this video, I think I can cover like any alternative genre because there's probably way more information out there. So I don't have to like scrape through random little articles from like 2007 that are like 3 paragraphs long. Anyways, as I said at the beginning of this video, subscribe, hit that bell, like this video, blah, blah, blah. Follow my Twitter as well. And goodbye.